Hi, and welcome to another edition of All Politics is Local. I'm your host, John Featherston, joined by longtime former host of All Politics is Local, my friend Peter Chisholm. Peter, welcome to All Politics is Local.
Thank you, John. It's good to be here.
It's great to see you again.
Yeah.
How's your summer been going?
Pretty good, thanks. Yep, busy, but going well.
We were just talking, Peter works for Framingham State. Students are eventually coming back. So we wanted to do a quick All Politics is Local because summer, unfortunately, is winding down. We wanted to kind of talk about, Peter recently went on a cruise and wanted to talk a little bit about the cruise ship business, and so maybe educate some people that are looking to get away and, an early fall trip and for a cruise.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, John. I actually am a representative for Expedia Travel Cruises. We're headquartered in Woburn. I'll give my phone number at the end of the show.
Sure.
But an email. But they in January, my wife and I went on a cruise online called MSC. It's a new line to the United States. It's just been here the last few years. It's primarily was a European freight line. They have any number of freighters that go around the world, and they started in the United States slowly. And they last year they opened up, started sailing out of Brooklyn to the Caribbean, and we were able to. We went down the second week in January after New Year's on a ship called the Meraviglia. The Meraviglia was built around 2017. It's a pretty new ship, and it's a little over 1,000 feet long. It holds up to 5,000 people.
Wow.
Plus crew. But I guess the New Year's week before we went on, it had just about the 5,000, but when we went on, there were only around 2,500. And it was a lot easier to move around. It wasn't crowded. And it was a beautiful ship. I had a lot of, modern conveniences. On the one of the decks where most of the stores are located, they had the ceiling. If you looked up 2 or 3 decks, it changed colors. It'd be, it was about 300 feet long, and it would just be one color, and it would change to a different design. And people would love watching that. They had a lot of entertainment on the ship, all kinds of entertainment, shows in the nightclub. They had a theater that seated probably 1,000 people, and they had cut on cruise ships. They do 2 shows a night, one around 7:30, one at 9:30. So people are able, if you have any early dinner or the late dinner, you can go and see the show, and so that works out well for people. And the entertainment is very good. The performers rehearse a lot, and they're Broadway type shows. They have family shows too, and they also have. When nights they don't have shows, they have. We saw a couple comedians, we saw a couple singers, very entertaining. And we sailed out of Brooklyn. It was kind of a rough passage going down to the south.
You drove to Brooklyn, flew?
Yeah, we had taken a train down Amtrak the day before, and we stayed overnight at a hotel in Brooklyn.
Nice.
Yeah, and it was amazing. It was a really funny story. There was a restaurant next door. We hadn't eaten. My wife said there's an Italian restaurant next door to the hotel, because they had been in that area before for a conference. And we went in. It turned out it was an Asian restaurant. And we got it. We took the elevator up like 30 stories to the top. It was a rooftop restaurant. And they call it, what they call it, when you smoke from a pipe. Not a pipe, but
like a vaping?
Yeah.
Vaping? Yeah.
With a container.
Oh, right, okay.
I forget what the term was.
I know what you're talking about. I
Yeah,
can't
but I'm
remember
telling
that.
you, I thought when I said, what's this place, what is this? But the people sat there and they had the
Hookah lounge.
Hookah, yeah,
Right,
that's
right,
it,
hookah
hookah
lounge,
lounge.
right.
I
Took me a
started
minute.
looking, when I first went there,
took
I'm
me a
looking for
minute, yeah.
hookahs, I said, what is this place? But then I figured out what it was. But they had the vases with the pipes, coming out of them, and the people were lighting up and smoking. And and then there was a party near us. They were celebrating a birthday, about 8-10 people. They actually ordered at one time, near when we were getting ready to leave, 10 bottles of champagne.
Wow.
Yeah, we brought out at one
Good
time.
night, a good night for everyone.
I knew someone was going to have some serious hangovers. But it was just, the food was very good, and it was, like I said, next to the hotel, so it was easy to get back.
Well, let's talk a little bit
Yeah.
more about the cruise, because a couple of
Yeah.
years ago, I got told by my boss at home that I was going on a cruise, and I was like, I don't want to go on a cruise. Because I had a misconception that it was ridiculously expensive and it wasn't going to be a lot of fun. And dollar for dollar is probably the best way to do any vacation.
Oh, today, the specials out there are tremendous. You can get a cruise today, depending if you want an interior cabin, ocean view, or balcony, from 2 people, from like $1,500 a couple, up to about 3,000 a couple, more if you want.
For a week.
Yeah, for a week.
You
8
can't
days,
go
7 nights.
to Framingham for that
No,
kind of money for a week
Exactly. I tell
nowadays,
people
right,
that all
yeah.
the time. I said, if you pay $1,500, one per first person pays $1,500, that's a 7 nights hotel,
Right.
right? It's like $200 a night, which is, compared to what hotels are today, it's a deal. Then you're spending $1,500 for all you can eat, your entertainment. It's amazing.
Yeah, I mean,
And,
you put pencil to paper there. Like I said, let's just say a hotel is $200 a night, like you said, you know?
I don't know,
Times 7, that's 1,400 right there.
Exactly.
And you haven't eaten, you haven't had any entertainment, you haven't had any fun or anything like that, so yeah.
I
So
know.
dollar for dollar, it's a very good
It is,
value.
tremendous
yeah.
deal.
Right.
And when you go to a port somewhere, you don't have to go sightseeing. You could just go and walk yourself and spend no money.
Mhm.
You know, just walking around locally. If you want to take a tour, because you can do that as well. And of course, on the ship, the entertainment's free. You know, the nightclub shows, the comedians, all that. The only entertainment on the ship that costs are gambling, the casino. And here's a tip, don't ever play slot machines on ships. You never win. But the tables are fair, and, you know, you can gamble if you want. And the casino at on the Meraviglia that we were on was, you know, it was a good-sized casino, and it was very entertaining.
Need a passport for the ship?
Yeah, you do. You need a
Okay.
passport.
Are there any ships out of Boston or New York that don't require a passport?
Only they're going to say United States ports.
Okay,
Yeah, generally, I'm not sure about Bermuda, but if you go to Canada by ship, you have to have a passport.
okay.
If you fly to Canada, interestingly enough, you can have a passport card, but if you're gonna go by ship, you have to have a passport.
Okay.
It's always good just to have a passport.
Sure, yep.
It's amazing, the last couple of weeks, I've got calls, I got a call from a family, they were sailing to Alaska for Vancouver, and they were told, you need a passport. The son only had a passport card, he found out that day, the day that they were gonna fly out to Vancouver.
Mhm.
And the woman called me, and I made a couple of calls, and then we found out she could go to Portsmouth, New Hampshire, from Bar Harbor, Maine. She'd drive down to Portsmouth, New Hampshire with the kid. They brought the card, and his father, he was going with his father. They got the passport a couple hours later. They made reservations to fly out of Boston. She drove them to Boston, dropped them at Logan Airport, and they were flying to Vancouver that night to catch the
So Portsmouth, New Hampshire has a expedited,
big passport center there, yeah.
oh, okay,
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
I learned something new tonight.
Yeah, and I'm also working with a family now. The fellow called me, and they want to go on to Canada, New England in September. And then he called me and said, geez, he said, one of the guys doesn't have a passport. It expired. And what he said, well, he's applied for expedited passport. Takes 3-4 weeks or whatever. I said, look, here's another thing. You have him go to his congressperson's office Monday morning, 9 o'clock. Can they help? I said, let me tell you something about government, you know, they can help.
They can help, yeah.
And,
Where there's
so-
a will, there's a way.
Yeah, so
right.
I've been contacting him, he was away last week, but we communicated by email, and he's just waiting for everyone to get the passport squared away. For the life of me, if you have a passport, check 6 months before it expires, apply for a new passport. I don't know why people wait so long, or they forget about it.
You might know somebody that happened to.
You've got it, yeah, you've got
Like, because I let mine expire
Oh, yeah,
during,
wow.
well, it was during COVID,
yeah, oh, yeah.
and I just kind of let it expire, and then I
Yeah.
went and renewed it, and it was, I had to spend money I shouldn't have had to spend.
Yeah,
Because
right.
I needed to get it renewed, yeah, so, yeah.
People don't do it, but that's one big thing, you know? But out of Boston, there are several lines now that work. It's becoming larger. Mostly, in the summer, you've got a couple lines that go to Bermuda. NCL's the big one.
Out of Boston.
Yeah, they're gonna have a shipyard dock next year too, the Norwegian.
Where do they dock?
Jamaican-
Next to the
South
World Trade Center?
Boston,
In the
yeah.
World Trade Center
Yeah,
area? Oh,
and
okay.
the Flynn Cruise Port. And then there's a,
Can people park there, or is
yeah,
they
there's a parking garage across the street.
probably better to Uber or take a taxi there, though,
Yeah,
probably.
you can, or take
Yeah.
the train in the South
Take-
Station, take a cab down,
Yeah, okay.
you know? And I actually sailed out of there 25 years ago. The first cruise I ever went on, it was a rust bucket, but it was a weekend getaway, you know, cruising nowhere. And I bought tickets, Barbara and I, and then that was the weekend the USS John F. Kennedy was coming to Boston.
Oh, nice, yeah.
So she and her cameraman, Paul, were invited to go down to sail up on the Kennedy. So I went on the cruise by myself, and just to see, I wanted to see if I could do a cruise. And for 2 nights, you know, it was a good way to try. And I met people on board, had a nice time.
So you went on a cruise by yourself for
Yeah.
2 days?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And,
Talk
there
about
were-
the ultimate hall pass.
Yeah, there were a bunch of nurses on, about 8 or 10 nurses. They kind of adopted me, and we had a lot of fun, you know, just,
All right, we won't tell your wife
no,
about
no,
that.
just sitting there having drinks, you know, sitting by the pool or whatever.
Nice.
But, yeah, and,
And, you know, not to be rude, but I mean, what was, how much did that cost? A 2-night?
Shot money in those days, probably $300.
Oh,
the whole
wow,
thing,
so you
know.
can't beat it, you can't beat it.
And, but now it's really booming. There's a ship coming in fact, now in the fall, they have cruises from Boston up to Canada, New England. Some go up to Quebec and drop you off and come back. Others round trip to Boston. And NCL does them, Royal Caribbean does it, Holland American has.
How many
them.
days cruise is that? Like,
It's like
2 or 3?
8 days, 7 nights.
oh, 8 days, oh, is that
Yeah.
long? Okay.
Yeah, they'll go up to 4 or 5 ports.
Okay.
And, you know, a couple in Maine, a couple in Canada, Newfoundland, and some other places, and come back. And pretty reasonably priced. And they're very popular. I've got this fellow I told you over the past one that wants to go in September. I mean, people call me sometimes so late, they try to get on a cruise. And, you know, I've got a battle, you know, try to find a cabin. They don't realize how popular cruising is.
Well, let's talk a little bit about, if somebody is watching this program and says, you know what, hey, honey, let's go on a cruise. What type of time frame? When should you start looking before you want to go?
Well,
And
if they want to
there
go.
are price
Yeah.
drops, and there's times of the year when it's
They're
better,
all-
more
no,
reasonable?
well, they're, like in February, the prices are good, but right now, they're not gonna be much cheaper in February than they are now.
Okay.
In January and February, and right now, if you wanna take a cruise in January, or a holiday cruise, you wanna book now,
Mhm.
because it gives you time, it gives the travel consultant time to look through different cruise lines, find the best deal for you. You know, if you wanna go in November, there's still time, but to look for this September, it's awfully tight, and,
You recommend them going through a travel expert
By all
versus
means.
like when I go to BJ's, I see that BJ sells
yeah, by all
cruises,
means,
but
and I'll tell you why.
I wouldn't buy a cruise from BJ's.
Yeah, if you run into an issue, and you call the cruise line, you're calling, hey, this is Jimmy Smith, you know,
Right.
nice, you know, say, oh, no. But if you call on behalf of, you know, Expedia, the company's gonna listen. And, in fact, I had
But that's all they're gonna do is listen.
well,
Right.
they'll act too.
Right. Okay.
I had 3 people take a river cruise this past spring.
Oh, really?
Yeah, one of the women got sick in the last couple of days. The ship itself wasn't very helpful in helping her get medical assistance. They said, well, there's a doctor down the street. She walked down there, you know, well, her friends said, go sightseeing, I'll catch up. The doctor's office had closed 6 months earlier. They should stop their drugs, somebody told her that. You know, back to the ship, she bought some, you know, wrote over-the-counter medications. She felt lousy, but she made it home okay. She told me about it. I wrote the cruise line, it was a river cruise, and the guy called me up the next day, said, they were, you know, I mentioned, you know, so the roommate, the 2 of them. He said, I'll give you each of them $200 credit on the next cruise, just like that, you know, they're always trying to be accommodating. But because we're calling with Expedia, and the guy knows
Mhm.
that if, you know, we could, you know, steer people to other cruise lines. And so in that sense, you know, the company slipped up, I know they're gonna make improvements. They said that some people are gonna be checking and see what the hell went wrong, you know, they weren't very pleased.
Good. You're watching All Politics is Local. We're taking a break tonight, not talking about politics. We're talking about something more important, a mental health break, a vacation, a well-deserved. We've got cruise expert Peter Chisholm here tonight talking about cruises and what we should do. So Peter, tell people, you know, like you're thinking about a cruise. What's the first step? What do they do? Go online?
No, call me.
Call Peter
Yeah,
Chisholm.
my
okay?
phone number is 508-294-0421. You can reach me via email at pchisholm, CHISHOLM, @expediacruises.com. And I'll be glad to help you. Tell me what you want. I got a call today. Sometimes when people call Expedia, the way electronics works, they bounce the call to a local office. If no
Oh,
one
nice.
picks it up there, then it goes through the employees, whoever picks it up, and then it comes, they came to me, I picked up, this lady wants to go December 5th, 5 days, 4 nights, from Florida on the Royal Caribbean Independence of the Seas, and I'm putting it together for her. And her husband's in the military, so he gets a military discount.
Nice.
They have discounts for senior citizens, for military, public safety, past cruise passengers, a variety of discounts that are
Teachers?
available too.
The teachers getting in?
No,
No?
nothing
Okay.
teachers,
All
yeah.
right. All right.
But in most cruises, the cabins will hold up to 4 people. So sometimes people, children come, mother, father, and 2 kids. A few you can find 5, but most of them, they limit it to 4. You're gonna have more than that, the less you get 2 cabins.
As an expert in the cruise ship business, and somebody's watching this program, where do you recommend, give me a recommendation of a 3-day cruise and a 10-day cruise. Give me some recommendations.
Well, I think
Stimulate some people
yeah.
thinking out there.
A short cruise, I'd take, if you wanna just go out of Boston, I say a week, you go to Bermuda and back, 8 days, 7 nights.
Some of us work, so we
Yeah,
can't get away.
there really aren't any, like, 3-day cruises.
No, there's not? Okay.
No, those like getaway cruises, you might find some down south, out of Florida.
Okay,
Do
yeah.
them all the time, but they're not big around here.
So you gotta travel to
Yeah,
Florida
you
to
might find a
take advantage.
couple
Okay.
going out of Liberty, New Jersey, Bayonne, New Jersey,
Okay.
or New York City. I'd have to, check there, but,
So basically, you need a week,
a
week to 8
week,
days?
yeah.
Okay.
And, but for a 10-day cruise, you can get some good cruises out of Boston, particularly, if you get on a repositioning cruise, that's when the season's over,
Mhm.
and the ship leaves, and they'll stop at different, down south, they're going down south for the winter, they'll stop at various islands, then they'll dock, maybe at Florida, New Homeport, you can fly home from there, and those are very cheap, because it's,
So you take the cruise down to Florida,
And
and
fly
then you
home.
just fly home?
yeah.
Okay.
And those are.
That's an
you can
idea I would
always-
have never thought of.
Yeah, you can always get bargains there.
Okay.
Because, and even coming back from Europe, a lot of cruise ships go over to Europe in the summer to the Mediterranean, come back in the winter, and if you're on the last cruise sailing the Atlantic, South Atlantic, you get some very good deals, and you get off and just fly home. Of course, you gotta fly over there too to begin with, but.
Right, but
the
still, you
prices
save
are-
a ton of money.
Yeah, you can save a lot of money that way. But, and then if you take a cruise out of Florida, you want a 10-day cruise, well, yeah, it's best for 10 days, you can leave from New York. They have the Queen Mary too, sails out of New York 2 or 3 times in the winter, in November, December. And it's a tremendous, it's an ocean liner. It's
Mhm.
not a cruise ship, it's an ocean liner, canard. And it sails down to the Caribbean, stops at about 6 or 7 islands, and sails back. And it's a beautiful, beautiful ship. We've been on it twice. They have
Nice.
the white glove service that they talk about. The first time I was on it, I was doing a story about it, which the Metro West Daily News published. And we got to sit at the captain's table. We were invited up to the deck, what do you call it? Jesus.
Promenade deck?
No, where the steering wheel is, the pilot
Oh,
was.
right.
Up there for tea with the Commodore and his wife. And they showed us, little
Could have been the
steering
Titanic.
wheel on an ocean line. It's like this big, about 2 inches in diameter. And the guy that said, Nerea, see that over there? This is the name of the ship, this is what it's carrying, this is where it's going.
Nice.
They watch everything. And they had this little table set up, and there were 2 or 3 English people there along. We sat down, and the Commodore's wife said to me, Peter, you don't want any tea? I said, I don't drink it. What do you drink? Diet Coke. She didn't even say anything. She looked at somebody. And the guy's back with a case of Diet Coke. 15 seconds, like.
And Peter was in heaven
It's
after
just-
that, yeah.
This is stuff like.
This is service,
Oh,
this
yeah,
is
but
service.
it's a beautiful ship, tremendous ship.
We always run out of time fast here
Yeah.
on All Politics is Local. Look into the camera, tell people how they can learn more about the cruise industry and how they can get in touch with you.
Sure, please, if you're interested, you can email me at pchisholm, CHISHOLM, @expediacruises.com, or you could call me 508-294-0421, or you can text me at 508-294-0421. And I guarantee, if you book a cruise, you're gonna enjoy it.
Yeah, so, surprise your loved one, book a cruise, call Peter, he'll get you a good deal. Don't forget to vote in the primary on September 3rd, and then take your cruise in between and come back and vote in the November election. You've been watching All Politics is Local. He's Peter Chisholm, I'm John Featherston. We'll talk again real soon. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.